down begin. Raze back live again. Pop culture, entertainment, of course, the hot topics. Traveling somewhere in the tropics. Usually for Zerb, for smoke show panels, $1 million plays. We expanding the channel, they say opinions like assholes. Watch your mouth at all times, and don't mess up the cash flow, we live.
What up, what up, what up? Hit that like button, guys. You guys come in, Raze is back live again. Hit that like button, guys, because the Diddy trial is on and popping right now. This will be the last week. The prosecutors will rest their case, and then the Diddy defense will take over and tell the jurors why Diddy is not guilty and should not be convicted of federal racketeering and sex trafficking. Hit the like button, like I said, once again, when you come in. Shout out to everybody who was here last night. We lost some connection last night, so we said let's run it back this morning, early morning. Shout out to Drew, who's in the building. Salute to you, Drew. Salute Quad God Beat Machine is in the building. Salute to you. How y'all doing? Hit the like button, guys. Because guys, y'all see the title. Diddy win? Because now it's becoming more and more popular for people to say that maybe Diddy is being overcharged by the feds, guys. Hit the like button. And they're overcharging. The exaggerated charges brought forth by the feds may be the reason why Diddy walks. Now, I'm going to get into what Dr. Phil said. I got a couple of audios to play about what Dr. Phil said about this case. I also got an article in which he did an interview. He was talking about the case. So I'm going to play that and I'm going to read that. Also, guys, you know, the juror, number 6, was dismissed early this morning. He was dismissed right before the trial started today. The black juror, the defense wanted him to stay on, but of course, you know, the feds, but the prosecution said, look, the guy lied about his address. You know, he said he lived in the Bronx, but he was going back and forth to Jersey and this and that. So the judge has dismissed juror number 6. Now, Diddy's team threatened to file a motion for another mistrial, saying that, you know, you threw off a black juror. The judge responded earlier saying, look, y'all said earlier that this was one of the most diverse jury pool we've had, you know, so he dismissed that black juror. So we'll see how that goes. The next juror in line to take was a white guy. So, but the judge did say, look, the jurors was diverse already, according to what the defense said earlier in the trial. So we'll see how that goes. I doubt he's going to grant a mistrial after he's not going to grant a mistrial. But that's just another thing the Diddy team could play with if they do get convicted and Diddy files for appeals. They can use that and go to Trump or whatever. And this, you know, it just, you know, so these mistrials are just, you know, plays for their like appeal if need be. Hit the like button. Hopefully y'all guys can hear me. Let me see. Also, okay, so let now this is the reason why I say many people now are starting to say is overcharged. Now, when Diddy first got arrested, the major issue I had and many other people had, and we were saying he's going to get buried under the jail, he's going to get 25 years of life, is because of the whole rumors or not rumors, but lawsuits filed by Tony Busby. And a lot of those lawsuits had a lot of underage victims inside those lawsuits, right? And when he got arrested for the S trafficking part of it, people were assuming, what up, Troy? How you doing, Troy? Salute. People were assuming that a lot of those people supposedly S trafficked and supposedly drugged and robbed, but not drugged and robbed, but drugged and S assaulted inside those freak-offs were A minors. But come to find out, that wasn't true. And a lot of us made assumptions thinking that those people were going to be testifying inside this court during this trial in which could bury Diddy and send him to jail for life or prison for life. We just assumed it was going to be like a few of them called by the prosecution to come testify as a witness, as a victim, but we have not seen not one alleged underage victim inside this courtroom. Not one. So the outrage and probably like the hysteria, the over exaggeration of these charges from, I guess, those civil suits that we thought was going to be added into the criminal suit, well, the criminal charges, it hasn't come to fruition. So that's why I'm saying these charges, I believe they are over exaggerated charges right now. And I believe, like, remember we were talking about the Justin Bieber stuff, the Usher stuff. They were underage when Diddy took them in under his wing, and people were speculating, oh, maybe they need to testify to talk about what they went through as underage. But you know what, guys? There has not been one underage person testify. I think we've been fed. We've been ignited by the media, by social media, by those civil lawsuits. We've been told a bag of lies. We've been fed a bag of lies. And I think we overplayed it. I don't think this case is as strong as the I wouldn't say the feds, but the media and Tony Busby made it seem. Because I was saying, right, 15 years to life, especially if you bring it in the underage and you bring it in the drugging of the people, but nobody has testified that happened, the drugging or the underage. So now, instead of, I'm looking at this case as more of like a 3 to 5 years, because there was some crimes committed, right? A lot of it's circumstantial, not really a lot of whole real evidence, but this is more like a 3 to 5 years type case. It should be. And that's what I'm saying. These charges are very, very exaggerated. This should not be that federal RICO racketeering a la John Gotti and the mob. No way. So shout out to you, Troy. This should not be that type of case. No way. Now, let's see what a guy you people know, Dr. Phil, right? Dr. Phil had an interview the other day, and Dr. Phil pretty much was saying the same, like, he was sitting around it, he wasn't going like too deep into it, but actually he was going deep into it, but he was talking to the dailymail.com, and he has some interesting things to say. You know what I mean? He has some very interesting things to say. And Dr. Phil himself was saying, he said he warned the prosecution, he warned them. He said he warns that the prosecution case is built on emotionally charged testimony and sweeping allegations, okay? May not meet the legal threshold required for conviction. Now, 4 weeks into proceedings, the music mogul is facing serious federal charges, including racketeering, sex trafficking, and transporting individuals for prostitution. However, according to Dr. Phil, the government's case may be legally flimsy despite its emotional weight. So Dr. Phil right there is saying that the prosecutors were relying heavily on these alleged victims, these females going up there with their tears and crying and this and that. And he said they might fall short because of that. All right. Dr. Phil also says they may have thought their evidence against Combs was so emotionally powerful, so sensational that a jury would be so offended that they'd convict Combs regardless of whether the facts precisely line up with the charges. Dr. Phil told the Daily Mail. Okay. Dr. Phil believed the defense would ask for a directed verdict, also known as a judgment as a matter of law, which would allow the U.S. District Judge in this case to dismiss the case before it reaches the jury if he determines the prosecution hasn't presented enough evidence to support a conviction. All right. The most scrutinized testimony came from Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former partner, who took the stand on Tuesday, May 13th to 14th, right? Her account painted a disturbing picture of abuse and coercion, But Dr. Phil argued that her testimony, while emotionally impactful, may not satisfy the legal standards for the crimes charged. Guys, we all seen the video of Cassie. We all hated that video of her getting beat up. But technically, he is not charged for that. He is not charged for that. That's where the overcharging comes in. None of that is illegal in itself, Dr. Field argued. The prosecution reliance on Cassie as a central witness has raised eyebrows, especially given her complicated personal history with Sean Diddy Combs. Okay. Dr. Phil said the legal bar for proving a RICO, conspiracy, or sex trafficking is far higher than simply presenting disturbing anecdotes. All right. The prosecution may have overcharged this case by sipping on what I call sweet poison, Dr. Phil said. You heard that? The prosecution may have overcharged this case by sipping on what I call sweet poison. Dr. Phil says they may have overcharged this case, guys. Dr. Phil likened the situation to the infamous O.J. Simpson trial, highlighting the disparity between public perception and legal evidence. Yes, like I was saying earlier in this live, the public perception of this was because of those Tony Busby lawsuits and civil suits that Diddy was diddling with the underage. Diddy may have diddled with Usher while he was underage and Bieber. None of that obviously is true. None of that is true, because if it was, they would have called, they would have subpoenaed Justin Bieber. They would have subpoenaed one of those Tony Busby victims that claimed that they were underage at the time of these things happening. But no. So instead of 15 years to life imprisonment, in my opinion, Raze's opinion, this is like a 3 to 5 year sentence type trial. And this is highly overcharged. Highly overcharged by the feds. Shout out to you, Maria. Salute. Said yes, Dr. Phil. Drop or not is in the building. Salute to you, drop or not. Look out for baby oil flavor Ciroc vodka, says Troy. That's a good one. That's a good one, Troy. Pause. How dare you slap a woman with no hands, Mr. Sean Combs? These courts are just looking to get rich, says JoJo. Drew says, agree. There was a lot of speculation and lies on Diddy. Is he a horrible domestic violence person? Yes, you're right. He is. I don't believe racketeering and extravagant is justified. Now, people are saying, Raze, they already proved RICO because of the sex trafficking. But these were, and this is why I say not all sex trafficking is created equal. Some things are worth 15 years to life. If you kidnap somebody, force them into a basement and hold them there for a few days and do horrendous things and force them to get with, Johns and clients for pay, whatever. Yeah, that's worth 15 years to life imprisonment. Technically, what they have shown so far is grown folks crossing state lines, correct? But they were getting paid money. They weren't forced. The Punisher guy who's going around on his media tour, they weren't forced. They were paid to engage in escort services at those free calls. Now, technically illegal, but is that really worth 15 years of life? Yeah, I mean, yeah, technically, yeah, you can say he's guilty of that. Is that really, if y'all using your common sense, is that worth 15 years of life? I say no, that's more like 3 years, right? A couple of years probation. Diddy is a freak. Diddy is a sex addict, obviously, and a drug addict, obviously. That's not the type of S trafficking that I would consider 15 years to life, right? No way. No way. People will bring up the drug trafficking. Now, here's the thing with that. somebody named Paul. This Paul dude is going to testify probably today or tomorrow, because right now they have a summary witness up there right now, you know, a paralegal that's summarizing the case for the jurors. So I don't know when the Paul guy, who was a friend or associate of Diddy, who was supposedly his drug mule, he got arrested for that, and I believe he engaged in a freak off or two here. Also, I think Paul was the guy too. He's supposed to be called to testify, and then that's it. Then that's it for the prosecution. They're gonna rest their case this week, I think Wednesday, and then the Diddy defense team. So there isn't going to be any underage people. There isn't going to be any people that said they were drugged. So that's going to be, that's, you know, so we're going to see what Paul says. And but listen, as for the drugs, Paul, the drug mule, they're going to say that he took drugs on airplane, more than likely across state lines, to give the Diddy, right? But those drugs was for Diddy personal use. Like I said, not all charges are the same. Now, if Diddy was, you know, crossing like kilos of coke or whatever across state lines or in a plane, that type of stuff, and he was distributing drugs to the streets, maybe you could say that's worth 15 years of life in prison, right? But he wasn't even doing that. Well, like I said, we're going to see what the Paul guy has to say once he take the stand. But I believe that this is just all personal use, and we know Diddy is a addict, a drug addict. So I say these charges, 3 to 5 years, but they are looking for 15 years of life, and I think the feds overreached. They over exaggerated the charges, and we're going to find out very shortly, because the Diddy defense team is going to put out their case later on this week, because this case is about to come to an end. Because once the defense finishes with their witnesses, whoever they got to call up to in defense of Diddy, that's it. It goes to the jury, unless they do some type of come to a settlement agreement or whatever. Is a second juror in trouble? I have not seen that. I know Tisa Tells went live like a few minutes ago and was talking about it, but I haven't seen anything about the second juror. Like I said, juror number 6 was dismissed, guys. Hit the like button. Juror number 6 was dismissed. And there's a new replaced with the next juror in line, which is a white male. You're doing such a great job with this, Maria says. Yeah, thank you, Maria. Yeah, I just think, like I said, I would never come up and say Diddy didn't commit any crime. See, people keep, you know, getting me misconstrued. That's not that. Like
Yeah, guys, this is not this is not, and I repeat, this is not a 15 years of life in prison. No way. Now, I don't guys agree, but I think some people are agreeing. Lisa would disagree with you. Yeah, Pathfinder. I know, of course, she would. Salute flight travel. Yeah, all right, good, dropping. Yeah, my fault, guys. Yeah, that my device, I don't keep acting ridiculous. But hit the like button, guys. You guys come in. I hear you now. Yeah, 100%. Agree, 100%. Yeah, like I said, I would never say he's not guilty of anything. And I think people, like I said, people get so mad at people that say this. I just think he's overcharged. I think Dr. Phil hit the nail on the head. I think Dr. Phil believes he's overcharged also, even though, that's Dr. Phil. But I believe there's some other people that believe he's overcharged. I believe the prosecutors went too hard on these charges. I mean, to give a guy life in prison because this poor guy is going to testify about his drugs and this and that. He probably took it on an airplane for him and this and that. But and people gonna be like, oh, sex trafficking, RICO, he conspiracy. He got his employees to do this and that. But that's not 15 years of life in prison, guys. There's levels to this. Common sense. There's levels to this. And I can't wait for the defense to make their case because they're going to say a lot of the stuff I'm saying. They were like, look, that was personal use drugs. He's an addict. Our guy is a drug addict and he needs help. And, there was no real conspiracy. Those were, friends and employees that would take the drugs to him. But it wasn't a conspiracy to distribute drugs on the streets to make a profit from his employees or stuff like that. So this is not like a John Gotti, Sammy DeBoer, Gavano, La Costa Nostra type situation. This is just a guy that's a freak, and he had a little bit way too much fun. He was having way too much fun. And yeah, technically crimes were committed, but that's 3 to 5 years worth of crimes, not 15 years of life. And the sad part is, guys, the abuse doesn't even come in because the abuse is not part of the crime, part of the charges, the domestic violence. The stuff you could really get them for, probably for like 7 years, right? I don't know, the 7 years, they didn't charge him with that. That's why it's very, very interesting. It's very interesting to see how those jurors is gonna decide. Good morning, Raze. Let's see who's going to get stuck by the bullhorns this morning. Yeah. Let's see. True, if some charges, not all. Yeah, like I said, it's not 15 years of life, not 15 years type charges. That's why I think he's gonna plead down. Flight Traveler, salute Raze. Shout out to you, Flight Traveler. Pathfinder says Tisa would disagree. Yeah, Tisa tells us live early. Of course, she's saying 25 years of life. Diddy is done and this and that. Nah, that's like I said. I'm being very fair here. There is no minors. There is no underage victims. That was the main reason I was like, well, yeah, he's done. I believe that's what R. Kelly got sentenced because of that, right? His charges had underage stuff. He got convicted for underage stuff, dealing with the minors, right? Diddy, obviously, what we heard was false because if he was dealing with that underage stuff, they would have called a witness, an alleged victim, to talk about their story, their horrific story, guys. Let's be honest. The feds would have called one or two. They're not going to call any. The poor guy is going to testify, who was at the freak offs and who was a person that was distributing drugs to Diddy for his personal use. Right now, who they have on the stand right now testifying is a paralegal that is summarizing the case to the jurors, putting a timeline together of everything. And then I guess Paul is going to testify, and that's going to be it. Then it's going to be the defense turn to state their case of why Diddy is not So this case falls very, very short for me. This case is not as big of a case as far as the 15 years of life type charges that I thought. So you're really going to sentence Diddy to the same amount of time as a person like a Gotti got? Is this that type of trial? Are you going to sentence him to what R. Kelly got? Because R. Kelly, like I said, R. Kelly was dealing with the minors. That's what he was convicted of, dealing with the minors. Right? If you look at his conviction, this is not that. I thought it was going to be that. I thought they were going to put that in there, but they didn't. So I was mistaken. We were fed a bunch of lies and over exaggerations. Thus the title. This is why the title I have. Well, hence the title. Over exaggerated through the media, social media, Tony Busby and his clients for those allegations. And I don't believe Diddy was charged properly. Spicy says it's more deep, I'm sure. Raze, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Then there are facts. Yeah, Pathfinder. Well, I'm stating the facts right now. Pathfinder. And the facts saying that this is only a 3 to 5 year. This is not. See, there's levels, Pathfinder. That drug trafficking, they're trying to hype it up as drug trafficking. When Paul gets up there, even a girl that took him the drugs in the plane, that little bit of drugs they had. Yeah, that's a crime, but there's levels of crimes. You're not going to put, that's not in the same category, taking kilos of, on a plane, to try to distribute, not in USA. That's personal use type stuff. Yeah, you still get in trouble for that, but that's not 15 years of life type crime with, for personal use on a plane. Now, if this was Indonesia or something like that, or one of those Southeast Asia countries, you get the death penalty for it, but not here in the USA. Shout out to you. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Anybody new to the channel? Free Diddy to the electric chair, says Paul. See, Paul? See, now, and I'm glad you said this, because Paul, now, are you saying giving him the chair because he beat up Cassie? Which some people could, yeah, some of you guys can say, hey, you hated that so bad. Listen, if you was Cassie's brother or family member, you probably would have attacked Diddy, and probably that could have been a death sentence by her family member or whatever, right? So that's why you keep your hands up for women, because you never know, they family member or somebody, but we're not her family members. We're just looking at it from a logical point of view. And yeah, some people just say, even people that's abusive to women, they deserve the death penalty. Okay, yeah. So I mean, but like I said, this case and this whole over exaggeration leads me wondering, well, not wondering, knowing, leaves me knowing that the charges over exaggerated. The hype of it was over exaggerated. The hype of it over exaggerated with those A minors. Like I said, if the underage people was brought into play, then you would have more of a point. But I mean, you can feel the way anyway, even with the abuse of Cassie, because you probably feel that way because you just abused Cassie, But I'm telling you that those other adults wasn't victims. Jane wasn't no victim. Brianna probably was lying about being dangled. She had her dates horribly wrong, as far as being dangled. The evidence, she didn't have evidence. You can't come to trial without evidence. And then you can't come to trial with evidence that says that you're lying. So she, so so that's a couple of the feds and the prosecution's alleged victims that were highly flawed. And you talk about giving the guy 15 years of life with alleged victims that are flawed and that might have been lying. I don't think Jane was lying per se. I just think that she's not a victim. She can say all she want to say. She's not a victim in anything. She was a consenting adult. I mean, it is what it is, Now, I think Jane was lying about her not really, well, you know what? She could not really want to do it, but she was still doing it. So like, you know, $10,000 a month rent, you know, I mean, woe is me. Witnesses are scared and paid off. Yeah, more so the witnesses not really paid off, but they are more scared because when you get a subpoena like that, I guess the feds probably like, look, take this immunity deal and this and that, testify. You know what we want. We don't want to put you in jail. We want to put Diddy in prison. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to put you in prison. So you know, you give us the goods and you won't be charged. Now I keep saying, if y'all believe the sex trafficking thing is so egregious, why aren't those prostitutes? Why is the Punisher allowed to be free and go around, you know, and doing all these interviews, getting paid for interviews? Why is that guy? He was a sex worker, grown adult, wasn't forced to do anything. You know what I'm saying? So if it's that egregious and they prove sex trafficking, that's illegal, technically, Raze. Well, if y'all feel that strong about it and that's worth 15 years of life in prison, why aren't the prostitutes that were consenting adults, why aren't they charged? And if it's that serious to you guys, if y'all really care about that bad, they should be prosecuted too. If it's that egregious, why are they allowed to get immunity and test? Because they just want to get Diddy? They just want to bury him 15 years? This is not 15 years to life type stuff, guys. I'm sorry. Once I didn't see anything about the A minors and then nothing like that, the underage, or the druggings. Like there was no druggings as for like slipping drugs into people's drinks and knocking them out and having their way with them. Once I didn't hear anything about that, nobody came up to testify. This is not that type. This is not the type of case that I thought we was going to get. This falls way short, guys. Now, there were some crimes committed, 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years worth of crimes in prison to me. To me, guys. This is not that. I think they over-exaggerated. The hype was over-exaggerated, and the case was over-exaggerated. Yes, Punisher was so free. Yeah. Nope. I would say I loved it. It was great, says Madeline. Ash Larry is allergic to baby oil. Somebody says Bill Cosby. Hot Wing is in the building. I stopped using baby oil when I was 9 months old. Ray Johnson, Hot Wing victims, as you call them, had fake IDs and Azelle, Clary. All right, so y'all talk about Cassie, not a victim, says fake Miko. USA is the biggest customer. There's no human trafficking because these women went home and came back whenever. Yeah, they went home, came back. You know, they were trying to, well, they really trying to say he trafficked Cassie all those years and this and that. But like I said, her problem is with her test, she was there for so long. Now, you could say he trafficked her for 13 years. You want to say that? I mean, oh, God. Thing is with her, she was paid $20 million. Got another $10 million, $30 million. Friday Diddy says VIP auction group. Hit the like button, guys. You guys come in. Anybody new to the channel? Subscribe to the channel. If you're going to troll, please be funny. Brad Jones. Salute to you, Brad Jones. Jack Black is in the building. Shout out to you, Jack Black. What are y'all guys feeling, guys? Is this a 15 years of life type thing? Because we all thought so in the beginning. We were like, well, the feds got him. The feds got him. He's going to jail for a long time. R. Kelly went to jail for a long time, but R. Kelly was engaging in those A minors. And according to this trial, Diddy wasn't. We were sold a bag of over-exaggerations and overhype. Free Big Soup out of Darnell's closet. Shout out to Big Super. He been helping us out with this case. Jane initiated slamming Diddy's head on the table. Some of these people are biased. Instead of seeing both sides, the Cassie video is a state case, not federal. It's problematic that people speculate. Yeah, and the thing is, there's not abuse. There's not an abuse case. You know, that's why I was saying they could, you know, if they would have charged him properly. I am listening and you're being anti-bias. You said some I am listening, and you're being anti-biased. You said some charges. Yeah, like I said, Maria, he's going to. I said, I see what I see as far as circumstantial evidence. I see drug possession. I see prostitution, and I see violence, abuse. But the violence, you can throw that out because that's not part of the RICO, right? So I see now. Of course, they're going to mention the $20,000 payout from the mom for whatever reason, whether it was for the if you believe her saying, "Look, I'm going to release the Freako videos," or something about Kid Cudi. They sent him the money, and then he sent it back a week later. He sent it back to the parents a week later. So, like I said, a lot of this stuff is remedied already. That's what I'm saying. This is like 3 to 5 years, guys. This is the 3 to 5 years in prison type stuff. This is not. That's why if I was on the jury, I would not convict them. If they, and now I don't know what they could convict them of. That's the thing. But if I'm on that jury and I'm like, well, this guy's about to get 15 years of life because of this, because it's basically because of his lifestyle, his sexual freakish weirdo lifestyle, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I think he should have been charged more properly, and then I would have felt very comfortably putting him in prison for the domestic violence, for the assault, drug possession, stuff like that. Me personally, I don't believe this is a 15 years to life in prison type case. You guys can feel differently, but that's just my opinion. Are you even in the court? Put all those together, and are you in the court, Little? I've been at the court. I've been down there, but are you at the courtroom? All right. So you're saying, listen. So are you in the court, Little angry grown hair? So if you could come to the conclusion, which you haven't been in that courtroom. So if you are not in the courtroom yourself, and you ask me, am I in the courtroom? So if you're not in the courtroom and you're coming up with the conclusion that you got a RICO, that they put it all together, right? You're not in the courtroom, so why do I need to be in the courtroom to say that they don't have a RICO? Little angry, what's that? Angry and grown hair. Why is it your right to say, oh, this is RICO? You're not in the courtroom. Why are you asking me, am I in the courtroom? I've been at the courthouse. I've talked to people that has been inside the courtroom. A big part of the R. Kelly case was committing his crimes with his artist. Puff did the same with Cassie. He was her boss. Where was she gonna go under a 10 album deal? Okay, yeah. Well, but no, but you leaving out the R. Kelly underage stuff too. Diddy doesn't have the underage, so this is not the exact same. I know what you're saying, but you missed out a huge thing. What I'm talking about, the A minors. Come on, guys, y'all guys know as well as I know all those allegations of those underage people, and you guys don't want to say it now because it didn't come to fruition. So anybody that wanted Diddy locked up for a life in jail or whatever, there was an R. Kelly tape, guys, of him with, but he beat those. I don't know how he beat that, but he beat that. We haven't seen that with Diddy as far as underage A minors, but y'all don't want to bring that up. Y'all just gloss that over. Y'all don't want to say, wait a minute, we were fed a bunch of lies in the media, a bunch of lies with Tony Busby because he did not engage in underage stuff, not proven. And if it was real, they would definitely call them to testify in this case. So that's what happens when people are biased. You are biased. You want him locked up. You believe the hype. Y'all believe the hype that he was dealing with that underage stuff. And you're like, yeah, he's gone. But it turned out not true, obviously. Like I said, they only got like one more person to testify, and that's going to be the Paul guy. That's it. 4 pills is recreational use. Yeah, they've been found pills and this and that. Now they're gonna try to hype it up about him drug trafficking with this poor guy, and but I mean that's all personal use. Like I said, there was crimes committed. I mean that is a crime. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not here to lie and say that, but that's like 3 to 5 years in prison type stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's why I would be, if I was in a jury, I would be forced to hang the jury or whatever, find him not guilty, because I believe he could get 15 years to life, and I wouldn't want to do that, especially once I found out that we was overhyped and gaslit about the whole underage stuff, guys. I'm sorry, not sorry. They got him for life, not in Piss Diddy. Yeah, little angry. See, you keep saying that, but you have, fake eye victim. Okay, Ray Johnson. No, it's all right. You look at what he was found guilty about as dealing with the underage. I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna bring up exactly what he was convicted of. I know what you're saying, but I think they actually found him guilty on that, of the underage stuff too. I think imprisonment of females too, right? Because he had like some kind of coat, female coat inside his house. You see, when R. Kelly asked for a pardon from Trump, I think people, what's going to happen with R. Kelly, I think the people is going to have a bad taste in people's mouth because of the underage stuff. See, when you deal with the underage people, with the alleged with R. Kelly type stuff, I don't think people are going to be that upset if Trump pardons Diddy. These are grown folks. Yeah, and Mac, I told you about the 20,000, but you heard me talk about that already. He gave that money back, the 20,000, in Mac. He gave that $20,000 back. So that kind of like, that low is it. The arson, they never actually proved he did the arson in Mac. But like I said, you know much arson is going on in LA right now with the LA riots. You're not giving them 15 years to life for that. Like I said, him and Kid Cudi, they remedied that. They came to an agreement that he apologized. Now he didn't apologize for the arson to the car, but there's no evidence that he did the arson, which I believe he did do the arson in Mac. So I'll give you that. But that's not 15 years of life. It wasn't like Kid Cudi was inside the car when he did it. And that, like I said, it's years ago. I mean, they have seen each other since then. I mean, if I can force him to pay for the man car, then yeah. Trespassing, I mean, is trespassing 15 years of life in Mac? No. I mean, this was a love triangle between adults. A billionaire behaving badly. Crimes were committed. I say 3 to 5 years max. But I don't even know if he could be sentenced. I don't know what the sentencing. I think the sentencing guidelines is 15 years of life. That's why if I was on the jury, I would find him not guilty. I'm sorry. because of the over-exaggerated charge. If they would have charged him properly, I would have went on and said guilty. It's not nowhere near life in prison case at all. Yeah, it's nowhere. Yeah. And personally, I don't really even see this as a RICO conspiracy racketeering, because I know they adding on definitions and stuff. But really, these are his employees. They maybe, did a criminal act here and there, but it was, like I said, this is not like the mob where everyone is trying to profit from these things. They were doing stuff to make his freak-off parties more lit, as far as the drugs and stuff like that. That's totally different. You know, yeah, they were covering up his abuse of Cassie, and they would not say, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. That's not RICO. That's not a conspiracy. That's not that type. That's not a criminal organization going out on the streets doing crimes, extorting businesses, and that type of stuff. Come on, guys. Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. It's not going into this bodega saying you got to pay us a certain amount of money each month, or we're going to burn down your bodega. That's not that. He wasn't running that type of criminal enterprise. Like I said, the feds, like I say, y'all got to be careful with this RICO stuff, because the feds, they could drop this on anybody. And like I said, with the drugs, he wasn't distributing drugs on the streets. Well, you know what? Up to now, they got this poor guy. People were saying, "Oh, his drug mule." I believe this drug mule had drugs on him. He was arrested for it before. I think this drug mule guy, Paul, that's going to testify, I think that he was taking drugs to Diddy for those freak-offs, not to sell, not to, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, which is a crime. It's possession. It is a crime. But they trying to say drug trafficking. They got him, Raze. That's not 15 years of life in prison. Sorry. That's rehab. Normally, y'all would say, well, he needs rehab. He needs to go to drug rehab. But no, not Diddy. Y'all want him in jail for 15 years of life. So now I see. That's why I'm glad I paid attention to this case. .304s and drugs is a life sentence. Hit that like button, guys. Diddy's life as we know it is over. Even if he gets out, we the people already know what he's done. And like I said, I don't know about that. He's still going to have a lot of money inside of that bank account. A lot of money inside that bank. That's another thing. If he's found guilty on RICO racketeering, they could take all his properties, his money, drain his account. Like I said, I don't believe that rises to this. This is not that type of case. This is not that overcharged. 100%, I believe he's overcharged. 100%, I believe he's overcharged. R. Kelly definitely peed on. Well, all right. Let me see. Media was hating, and there was no mind. Yeah, I mean, it was overkill. It was overkill. We was all guilty, because you too, we part of the media too these days. You know what I'm saying? And we was like, well, so many people coming out. Now you throwing in. It was just like an atomic bomb thrown at them. So like, so many people are coming out as victims. They all can't be lying, right? But you know what? All of those people that was saying they were underage had to be lying, because they haven't been called to testify against them and put inside this case. They would have made the Fed's case way more stronger. Like I said, I thought he was out. I thought he was in there drugging people, knocking them out, knocking out underage. I mean, by drugging them, Nope. Prosecution done calling witnesses. Defense. What? So what happened to the Paul guy? They were supposed to be calling Paul. Yeah, that's Dr. Phil. Hey, Dr. Phil. And matter of fact, drug possession is probation, no intent. Bias. Now, what's the pot? All right, bias. Now that's the pot calling the kettle black. Hey, we outside. Hey, we outside. I'm just looking at the case as a somebody. I don't have a dog in this fight, and I'm seeing people holding on to their perceived bias. I could have held on to my perceived bias. Let's just say if I would have went all in on Diddy's guilty when he first was arrested, right? He never getting out. Diddy's done, and I was getting a lot of views, and I was making a lot of money doing that. Of course, now that this trial has come out and I'm seeing the evidence, I would have had to stick to that biasness, right? Because that's what got me big. That's what got me making me a lot of money covering it. So I would have to stick to that. But in my case, I don't have to stick to it because I never went that far as to say Diddy was done, Diddy this and Diddy that. I wasn't holding on to that. I was still looking at all the evidence that was put forth. Yeah, I probably got in my head. I was like, well, yeah, he's done because all these victims can't be lying. I was saying that when he was first arrested. But obviously, a lot of victims were lying because my main concern was those underage and the druggings. Drug possession is probation, no intent. Yeah, no intent, yeah. Listen, hip-hop industry is the only industry that has ever had accusations against them, yet this is allegedly a whole thing in the music industry, period, right? Y'all going to have to learn, says Brianna. Yeah. And people should learn from this Diddy. I believe Diddy is a crazy sex addict also. You know. He's protected by elite. Way too many have so much to lose. All right. LOL. Well, somebody just said that but like I said, the Paul guy, I seen Paul was supposed to testify. I was surprised that the summary witnesses came up. So is Paul going to testify, guys? Is Paul testifying? Let me see if I can bring that up. I'm going to bring it up. Let's see if Paul going to testify. The drug mule, the supposed drug mule. When you rich, you kick it differently. That's all Diddy was. Good ninja. Yeah, like I said, like I said, not my type of guy, but it's not as awful as I once thought. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was thinking that because I was like, if a lot of this stuff was true, as far as like before this trial started, what we was hearing these rumors and these lawsuits by Tony Busby, I was like, this guy is probably in the top 10 worst people in the history of the planet. With these lawsuits that we heard some wild lawsuits that were filed against Diddy for assault and all types of stuff. But them people haven't been called to testify. This trial would go on until the right person is caught on tape, someone with enough juice or legal influence. This trial is about to end in a couple of weeks because the prosecution is resting their case this week over the next day or two. And then the defense is going to, have their people come up and, whoever they got, they're going to make their case of why Diddy is not guilty. You sound crazy right now, Sean. Well, come back over here when next week or next 2 weeks when there's when they plea out and Diddy is not given 15 years to life for metal helmet. You're one of those type of people that's sticking to the lie and the propaganda from when he was first arrested with the A minors and the underage stuff. Unless you feel that him beating up Cassie is worth 15 years. Let me not. So maybe, and you got a right to that. So like I said, you people have a right to your opinions. If you feel that him beating up Cassie and being abusive is worth 15 years to life, well, you know what? Some people may feel the same. So I'm not going to kill you for that. But you can't say that this was overcharged because I believe it was. I really believe it was. You can't say that we weren't gaslit to believe he was engaging in all types of heinous crimes against underage and drugging people and stuff like that, which that was omitted in this case. It wasn't. So I have to put my expectations of prison time for Diddy. It's not as bad as I thought. I'm dead serious. Once you take out the A minors and the no drugging of people, all branches of entertainment were nor just music. That's why the jury is instructed what constitutes RICO. There's nothing in the statute that require victims to be underage to meet the criteria. Yeah, and that's why I've said this RICO. That's why I don't care about this RICO nonsense, because I believe that this is gray area type RICO. That's why I don't want him to do 15 years of life, because I was more on board for 15 years of life if it was the underage stuff. That's what, if I was on the jury, if I was on that jury, all this other Fed RICO stuff, y'all can have that. Y'all can help the feds do that. If y'all was on that jury, if you wanted to help the feds put them in life, put them in jail for life for RICO, racketeering, garbage, go ahead. I'm not. Sorry, not sorry. I'm not. So you can help. You go ahead, do yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? You can help the government all you want. If you was on a jury, it's your right. That's why I say these social media, YouTube, college professors want things to fit their narrative instead of seeing it as it were, where it's laced, baby. Or yeah, Ray Johnson, exactly. Use logic and see the patterns. Hip hop is not going to be adults touching on babies. If they were teenagers that look grown, different story. Brianna, yeah, these are all grown folks doing the weirdo things. Let me see. No, we need RK's report. Those that know what's going on, this case, no. This is just misinformation. You screwing ridiculous. No, this is just me watching the trial. We outside. Don't get mad. Don't get mad because you want 15 years of life and you more than likely not going to get it. So what are you going to do? What are you going to say when he gets probation? What are you going to say? We outside. Are you going to come back here and say, Raze, you know, Raze, I'm sorry, you were right. What? Because what? Will you come back here? Now, if he gets 15 years of life, I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna say, hey, you guys are right. Now we outside. Would you, if you come back here and you tell me, I mean, if you tell me, Raze, you were right. He only got probation. You were right. This was over exaggerated. Would you come back here? I don't think you're gonna come back in these comments. But I do a whole live and say, yeah, you guys are right. I would still say that I wouldn't have sentenced him to 15 years of life. I wouldn't have convicted him. I would still say that. But I would say you guys are right that the jury believed what they were selling and they convicted him. You know what I'm saying? Even if he's convicted, I still don't believe it had been a right conviction. Like I said, 3 to 5 years max for these type of crimes. But I'm saying that I believe he did. Because even the crimes I believe he did, there's no real 100% hardcore evidence that he did it. Like I said, but the burning of the car and certain stuff. But, you know, circumstantial evidence, me putting 2 and 2 together, I'm like, I could believe he did that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? 3 to 5 years. Nope, but they're going for the gusto. They're going for 15 years of life. Yeah, I know giving it back doesn't negate the crime being committed, nor I don't care. Like I said, first of all, I'm not law enforcement. So really, I don't care about their laws and this. And I'm not law enforcement. I'm a common sense type person. Those jurors are common sense type people. So really, I don't care. If he gave it back, he gave it back. I'm putting that in my, judges do that all the time. Judges do that all the time. Judges look at that type of stuff before sentencing. Judges could grant leniency. Be lenient. They be like, well, you gave it back, so I'm not gonna. So judges do it all the time. So why you get mad at me? And Mac, it is a part of it. If you do return something, if you do show remorse and stuff like that, the judge can be lenient, even though you did commit a crime. Judges are lenient all the time. knowing you did the crime, it doesn't take away from the crime you did, but judges be lenient. If you are doing some good in the community, if you are helping, if you got a history of helping people, helping youths, they be like, well, you did commit the crime. Don't act like it's written in stone. Come on, guys. Y'all guys are being biased as hell. I'm telling you. Look, listen. There is a thing called leniency because you did the crime, but the judge can show discretion and say, all right, you did get the money back. You know, so I mean, yeah, come on, we see that all the time, bro. Y'all standing 10 toes down on this. So what about the underage stuff? You know, what in Mac? How do you feel about the underage stuff? There was no underage stuff proven. There was no druggings proven. Like I said, hell, they didn't even bring them in to testify that it happened. So they wasn't even trying to put that out there. Do you feel that you still think he should do 25 years of life? Like I said, I believe he probably should if he was convicted on the underage stuff and the drugging of people, but he didn't do those crimes. They didn't even try to put that out there that he did. So my sentencing once of him goes way down, and I think he was overcharged. Yeah, top 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years, because he did beat up Cassie. But the sad part is that he wasn't even charged. This is domestic violence is not in these charges. Charged improperly. Guys, I'm sorry. People kept coming back for these parties. And for them to bring up Jane up there like she was a victim, that's an insult to my intelligence. I don't know about you. Some people believe Jane was a victim. I don't know how on what planet. But I believe that was an insult to my intelligence, them bringing Jane and parading her around like she was a victim. So, you know, if I'm a juror, I feel highly insulted that they tried to parade her around like she was a victim. He was just living the Hollywood lifestyle. He is not the only one to live swinger life in that industry. If going after him, then go after all the artists for their money too. Don't tell them that because they will. They'll drop RICO on all of them, Maria. They dropped the atomic bomb. Like I said, they could have hit Diddy with a surface-to-air missile, a Scud missile. They didn't have to drop the atomic RICO racketeering bomb on him. They could have got a couple of convictions on some normal stuff. Normal assault, drug possession. You know what I'm saying? They want to go for the 15 years of life on a RICO charge, and they expect Raze as a juror to go along with their nonsense. Nope, not happening. Sorry. I hope you got paid up front. Out here lying for the diddler. He's known not to pay his bills to people. But he paid Jane. He paid Jane on time, $10,000 a month. He paid her on time, still to this day. Now I don't know about next month payment because you know, she testified against him. You know what I'm saying? He paid Jane on time, $10,000 a month. That love contract. Man, yeah. So if Raze says he don't believe he gets 15 years of life, I'm 100. I'm on Diddy's payroll. See, that's how biased. That's why I say people are biased. You guys are biased because you're not. I said he's guilty of some stuff. I told you what he's guilty of, but you still want me to say he's guilty. So you still want me to say he. You still want me to say he did something with Justin Bieber and Usher, when they were minors, right? That's what you want. You're mad. You want me to say, you want Raze to come up and say, yeah, no, I really believe he did something with underage people. Give him 15 years to life. You know, give him the R. Kelly treatment. Give him. Come on, y'all can't. See, that's the problem with you guys. You guys don't want to release your bias against them. You went into this thinking that all that stuff is going to be proven. The feds don't miss 95% conviction rate. The feds got him. They got him. Come on, look at this. This case is weak. This case is trash. This is a crash. This is a trash RICO. This is a stretch. This is a far-fetched stretch type RICO. This is a gray area RICO. Yeah, you could pay some stuff together. Oh, his employees. That's the RICO conspiracy. They wasn't. Oh my God, this is not John Gotti. This is not. This is not a criminal entourage that terrorized the streets of New York City. going to businesses and starting businesses and stuff. It's not that type. This is an individual, a freakish, like I said, that committed crimes, 3 to 5 years tops. Sorry. 3 to 5 years tops in prison. And I think he's gonna plea out, to be honest with you. He wasn't putting hits out on people and stuff like that. Yeah, he had his run-ins with Suge Knight and stuff, but I mean, like I said, this is not 15 years of life. Take that, Playboy. Oh boy, I want to thank Extreme Traveler with the $5. He says agree. Yo, shout out to you, Extreme Traveler. Thank you for the $5 to the Cash App. I highly appreciate you, Extreme Traveler. Thank you for that. No RICO here, says Jack Frost. Oh man. It's sure not. I totally agree. Yeah, this is not that type of case. You know what I'm saying? I would never come up here and say he's not guilty of anything, but I'm not helping the government along, putting this guy in there for 15 years of life, because I don't believe it warrants it after seeing the evidence. Shout out to my guy Ray Elroy's in the building. Salute, Ray Elroy. Salute to you. Salute to Ray Elroy. What it is, Cassie and Jane wasn't big enough names to care. Let it happen. Let it have been big celebrities, pastor or rapper, then folks would get it. No, and Mac. Well, Jane wasn't a credible enough victim, and she didn't want her name to be out there. So, you know what I mean? It is what it is. I mean, she's. I mean, I don't know what you're saying. How can you say Jane was a victim? Like I said, Cassie had more claim to be a victim, and she got paid $20-30 million. So she's good. I mean, you know, you want me to put somebody in the jail for he's not even charged with the assault. Now you're trying to say he trafficked Cassie, but I mean, she was compensated 20 million and 10 million. I mean, how much more do you want, for the love of God? When there's a gray area about her being trafficked, some people don't believe she was. Some people believe she set up freak offs on her own time also. So he was spiking drinks. What are you talking? All right, where's the evidence? All right, if he was spiking drinks, hey, this is your time. Hey, he was spiking drinks. We outside. It's your time. You play the prosecutor right now. Call one of those victims that said he spiked the drink. Send them a subpoena. Go to the Tony Busby firm. Get that list of people that said he spiked their drink. Get that list of the underage people. Subpoena at least one. All I want is one. All I want is one. We outside. Why haven't they subpoenaed not one person that say he did that? See, when you come to trial, you got to have evidence. Unless it's just rumor and I can't put nobody in jail 15 years. I thought I could. So I thought they were going to put these people on the stand and they're going to be credible and have some evidence, or at least cry in the stand and say, yeah, this guy drugged my drink and this and that, and I was taking advantage of it. I didn't see it. I haven't seen it. I'm sorry. See, y'all want me to put out, y'all want me to say he's guilty of stuff that they didn't even put out there on the stand to claim he did to him. That's where I say the biasness comes through. We outside. You know what I'm saying? You know you're getting money saying he didn't do it. Where's it? Well, I haven't had a super chat today. I got one Cash App through from my guy Extreme Traveler. He always come through with the Cash Apps or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I would have no problem saying he did it if the evidence said he did it. How can you say he spiked people drinks when, well, this is the time to shine in the courtroom that not one person said he did. You know, to test it, not, you know, to listen, man. I don't, you know, y'all guys. The juror was dismissed. Yes, Anonymous was dismissed earlier today. I reported that. Shout out to you, Anonymous. And like I said, the Diddy's team is going to file for another mistrial because of that, which is not going to be granted, but they're putting a mistrial in just in case he is convicted. It'll help their appeal out. Some of these people better lawyer up because I can see defamation lawsuits coming. Yeah, like I said, what happens to all those Tony Busby people that claimed all of that stuff went down? Order the Tony Busby people. You know what I'm saying? A girl was dismissed. Did you see that? I seen the guy. So another juror was dismissed too. I know Tisa Tells went on live and said there was another juror that's going to be, that may be in trouble also. No Panton Tells. People are saying they see Raze telling the truth and looking at the trial. If y'all guys want to work for the feds and work for the government and lock up rich black men, hey, Pantel Chels, Pantel Chels, go ahead. You do you. Me, I'm looking at the facts, I'm looking at the case, and I'm making my decision. I didn't say Diddy is, I didn't say free Diddy. I said don't overcharge him. I said his crimes is worth about 3 to 5 years of crimes for what I'm saying, not 15 years of life. Because I'm negating the underage stuff, which they haven't even rung that up. I mean, y'all could be bad if y'all want. What are y'all gonna do when he gets like 15 years probation and no more jail time? What are y'all gonna do? Are you gonna say the judge and the feds had a free Diddy shirt? Because they the ones gonna set him free, not Raze. I'm just reporting what I'm seeing. Now let me see who's testifying. Like I said, the person, they had a summary witness up there, right? Now I think Paul was supposed to testify. I don't know if he actually testified about the drug mule. Like I said, that drug stuff, guys, that was all personal use. He wasn't, putting out drugs on the streets to sell it for profit and stuff. It's like, come on, it's a stretch, guys. Sex trafficking, Raze, sex trafficking, life and no. See, I can't play that game because that could be me, that could be you, that could be any of us brung up on those type of charges. We have some personal use weed or something. You know what I mean? You get stopped at the airport. I don't know why. I mean, I wouldn't have it at the airport. I'm not even a smoker, but I'm just used. Drug trafficking, Raze. Drug trafficking, 15 years of life. No, that was for my own personal use because I'm an addict or whatever, which I'm not. I don't even smoke, guys. But I'm just using that as an example. Let me see. Thank you for that super chat, Maria, with the $5, $5 Canadian. You out there in Canada. Thank you. Thanks for being anti-bias. I want a fair trial. Yeah, that's all I call for, a fair trial. Maria, thank you for that $5 donation. Raise a fund. I want a fair trial, guys. And I don't want to put people in jail just for the sake of putting them in jail. You know what I mean? But some people do. But y'all got your right to your opinion. Maria, they got the right to their opinion. But the thing is, I'm not gonna come up here and just bury somebody when I have the case in front of me now. You know what I'm saying? I have the opportunity to see the case in front of me. So you know what? I decided not to go ahead and bury the guy. You know what I mean? I would have had no problem burying him if I seen he committed egregious acts and stuff like that. I would have no problem burying him. Like I said, I'm not letting him off the hook because we've seen a video of the abuse and stuff. I'm not letting him off the hook. I'm saying he's guilty of some things, but the sad part is, Maria, is that he's not even charged with abuse. He's not charged with that. With the stuff they can nail him with 100%. The video with domestic violence, he's not even charged for. He's not charged with that. The stuff that we all can see and all know he did, 100%, 100%. The stuff they got the biggest evidence on, the abuse, he's not even charged with. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I'm trying to see who's testifying right now, guys. I'm trying to get an update for you guys. I believe that that person is still testifying. The paralegal that's I'm trying to get an update. Baby or you possession, yeah, Panton Charles. What is he guilty of? Like I said, I only say he's guilty of prostitution. That's obvious. Engaging in prostitution, drug possession. Shout out to you, Jake White. Abuse, but really, I mean, the assault and abuse is not part of the charges. So really, you can't even. This is a weak case. This is a weak case, and I'm going to stick to that. Jake White, shout out to you, Jake White. 2 people just got stabbed outside the courthouse. Did you hear about that? No, because you were in the basement. We outside. Where are you? Where are you? We outside. We outside. Are you outside? So how did you hear about 2 people getting stabbed? So do I have to be outside right now at the courthouse right now for me to hear about 2 people getting stabbed? So all I had to do is go online right now and see if 2 people were stabbed outside the courthouse. What does me not being at the courthouse have anything to do? I'm at that courthouse pretty much every day. I might go out there today. It's early right now. I still might go out there today. We outside. But what does me having? When you hear about people getting stabbed, do you be in a bodega in Brooklyn when somebody gets stabbed in a bodega? Do you have to be there to witness somebody get stabbed? We outside. See, once again, y'all try to come at Raze with stupidity and nonsense. I just flip it all right around because we outside. You're not at the courthouse. You damn sure haven't been there more than me. So you can report on somebody getting 2 people getting stabbed. You're not there, so thank you. I'll find out if 2 people get stabbed. Hell, I might run out there in the next few minutes. We outside. I highly doubt you're ever gonna be out there though. Let me see. And that none of these people go through anything. They want people to be biased like them. Yeah, we outside. See, we outside just want people to be biased like him. Maybe Diddy slap some baby yo on we outside ass. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's why we outside. Are you a victim? We outside. Hey, we outside. Hey, we outside. Are you a victim? Did Diddy touch you? We outside. You should call the prosecution before the trial ends. You ain't going to stand. Hey, we outside. Before it's too late. You still got time. We outside. We outside. Did Diddy touch you? Hey, yeah. Hey, we outside. Did Diddy touch you? Huh? You need to go there like Kanye. You need to show up and be a surprise a victim. Diddy touched me. He touched me. Raze don't believe me though. I want him to do 15 years to life. He touched me, Judge. Diddy touched me. Yeah. Give him life. Hit that like button, guys. I'm just having some fun with we outside. I'm just having some fun with him. Yeah, I like to have fun, guys. If y'all don't know me, I like to have fun up here. Gotta get your 20. Nah, I'm good. We outside. Hey, we outside. You just make sure you get in that stand and testify that Diddy touched you because hey, you really got some bias against the guy. Oh no, the felony he did it against you. You need to go testify. Go testify that he touched you, bro. Go testify. All right, you know what? If you go in that stand, I believe your testimony. Okay? And were you underage when he did it? I believe your testimony. And then I say, all right, give him life. So you go ahead, you go there. If you hop on that stand right now, over the next, you got to do it because they're about to arrest their case, the feds, so the prosecution. So you better go over there now, and I believe you. Salute. What the heck? Salute. How you doing? We're waiting for We Outside to go run down there and say he was a victim, another victim, so we could give him life. Because he wants Raze to say Diddy deserves life in prison. But I need another victim. So I want somebody to say he drugged them, or a minor to enter into that courtroom and say, so We Outside, you're up there. So Mr. Sinker is Mr. Sinker. All right, so the poor guy is testifying. All right. Hey, hit that like button. Tammy, holy hell. But you probably wasn't here earlier. Oh my God, I get tired of going back and forth over, and I'm going in circles, for the love of God, Tammy. Now I'm not blaming you because you wasn't here, Tammy. When Diddy was first arrested, we heard about all the victims. And even I said, well, all of them can't be lying, okay? What made me believe he probably should get 25 years to life in prison or 15 years because of the minors, the alleged victims by the Tony Busby list, the druggings. I was like, well, he's buried. He's doing some R. Kelly stuff, underage stuff. But Tammy, we have not heard not one alleged victim that say they were underage, or one that said they were actually drugged. 100% that they were drugged and assaulted. So now I had to rethink my thinking that a lot of those people that were found in those lawsuits for money were lying, because the prosecution would have subpoenaed them to come testify in court to bury Diddy. That does not happen. That does not happen. So I'm to the assumption that all of them were lying, at least the underage people, because why wouldn't the feds subpoena them to come testify? Why wouldn't they? But y'all are just gonna gloss over that fact. Y'all gonna gloss over that. Y'all gonna gloss over that. They're gonna gloss over that. You're like, well, yeah, but the Fed 95% raise RICO, racketeering, criminal enterprise, conspiracy. Feds don't miss. Boy, y'all what are y'all going to do when he walks out and get no jail time? What are y'all gonna do when he gets like 15 years probation? What are y'all gonna do when that happens? Are y'all gonna say the judge is wearing the Diddy shirt? Are you gonna say the judge got paid $20? Are you gonna say the prosecutors got paid $20 when they give him a plea deal for time served and 15 years probation? Are y'all gonna be saying the same thing? Because they don't want, like I said, Raze. I can't free him. I mean, the people that's gonna free him more than likely is gonna be the prosecution and or the jurors. Are you gonna say the jurors wearing a free Diddy shirt were paid off? I'm just calling it like I see it, guys. I'm sorry. I know some people, had their hopes up that y'all were watching Tisa Tells. Y'all was watching Tisa Tells 5 live streams a day on this case, saying Diddy is done. And now you're coming over here and you're seeing something said that's not matching up to that propaganda, and now you're mad. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, but once again, thank you for coming up here. Not guilty of RICO, says Jay White. He is guilty of something which should have been state charges by Ellen Bragg, the Manhattan DA. Exactly, Jay White. I would never come up here and say Diddy is a nice guy, he's a good guy. No, he was guilty of some things, but not 15 years of life type stuff. That's all I'm saying. We outside. We outside. Tell it to the jury. Because tell it to the jury. Tell it to the. Your beef is going to be with the prosecution. So, all right, we outside. How are you going to feel? And this is to We Outside. The people that think like We Outside. How are you going to feel if and when the prosecutors offer him a deal for just time served, 15 years probation. Are you going to say the prosecution was Diddy diddling? Or are you going to say the prosecutors got it wrong? Or are you going to say the prosecutors were getting paid off by Diddy? Because if that's the case, if they do that, they're going to feel, if they offer him a plea deal, that means the prosecution don't really believe he should be in jail for 15 to 20 years. I mean, 15 years of life. For somebody that belong in jail for life and you offer them a 15-year probation, that's going to be telling. And I want you to come back here and I want you to say how the prosecutors and the judge were in the corner of Diddy and this and that. Yeah, they should have brought up state charges. Yeah, because like I said, they got him dead to rights on a listen, and we outside. They got him dead to rights on the abuse, but the thing is, the abuse is not part of the case. It's not part of the charges. The strange thing is, like I said, Dr. Phil on my thumbnail. Dr. Phil said, look, the prosecutors may have overcharged them. Straight out of the words of Dr. Phil himself. Matter of fact, I got an audio to play of Dr. Phil. Listen to this audio. Got a couple of audios to play. And this is Dr. Phil analyzing the case. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, guys. Raze, you covering this. Thank you for your donations. I appreciate you. Hit the Cash App also, guys. Thank you, Stream Traveler. I appreciate. I might run down to the courthouse. I'm gonna check out that story about people somebody getting stabbed. I'm gonna say I don't want to report that though because I don't know. I mean, I didn't confirm it yet, but
they're attributing this all defendant in the case, Combs, saying he's a bad actor. He did bad things. I assign none of this to the women that got caught in that situation. And probably most people looking at this, like looking at the Cassandra video, would say, it doesn't matter where locus of control is. That's criminal behavior. And so that might overcome that. But I'm just telling you that's one of the things that the defense would be looking for is someone who holds themselves accountable for outcomes in their lives.
Well, I think it's so interesting.
And again, I don't ascribe to that. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying that's what they would be looking for.
But when now the prosecution is saying this is all coercion, this is all coerced from the defendant, right? External. Whereas the defense is saying this is all consent. They consented to this. These were adults. And in the criminal case, the two victims that are going to testify, both adults, they're saying this is adult behavior. They chose this lifestyle. They were in these relationships. They continued to do these things with him. So it was all their own consent. It was within their control.
Yeah, they're going to argue negligence. They're going to argue some negligence, not necessarily legally, but they're going to say, hey, these women knew what they were signing up for, and there were good things and bad things that could come out of that. They knew that, and they took the risk knowingly. Yeah, they're going to argue negligence. They're going to argue some negligence, not necessarily legally, but they're going to say, hey, these women knew what they were signing up for, and there were good things and bad things that could come out of that. They knew that, and they took the risk knowingly. I think this is going to be an interesting case, and I think the defense has to be very careful to not push too hard on excusing behavior. Sometimes a modified mea culpa can go a long way towards buying credibility on some of the actionable charges. And by modified mea culpa, I mean saying, look, that wasn't his finest hour. He didn't behave well here. But how does that go to what he's charged with? Because there are RICO charges here, but yet he's the only one charged. So who was he? Where are the other parties?
Where's the enterprise?
Yeah, who is he enterprising with if he's the only one charged?
Yeah.
It just seems this is going to be very interesting to see how this is proved up. And what are the instructions going to be from the judge, and what are the definitions going to be on the charges? People sometimes forget they don't go back and say guilty or innocent. As you know, they go back there and there are a lot of definitions they have to go through. Did they prove this element, this element, this element? If yes, then go here. If no, go to page 14. I mean, it's a very complex situation, as you know.
Yeah, this is going to be a hard one for the jury, and I agree with you. Trying to do that sort of modified mea culpa, which is what the defense is trying to do. They're literally trying to walk that fine line, saying, "Oh, yes, he did domestic violence, but he didn't do these charges." That's a hard one with the jury. You have to be very careful with that.
It is, but if he can admit to things that he's not charged with, he can buy credibility when he denies things he is charged with. And that's a subtlety sometimes the jury doesn't pick up on. Well,
Okay, guys, y'all can hear me now, right? Yeah. So y'all seen Dr. Phil talking about the case. They said, look, admit to the abuse, admit to like you not the, that wasn't your finest time. Admit to all that because he's not charged with that, oddly enough, and and maybe they would believe you that when you say you're not guilty of this other stuff. So hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. And I agree with Dr. Phil. That's Dr. Phil, guys. That's not Raze. That's Dr. Phil. That's Dr. Phil. We outside. KK going down next. Now, I'm surprised they didn't subpoena KK to testify. I'm surprised. We outside. You hear all negative. People love negative and hate. So that's why Tisa is at the courthouse. Yeah, I know Tisa is at the courthouse. And if you're right about two people getting stabbed, I'm glad I'm not at the courthouse right now. Because we outside. I probably could have. I would have been the one got stabbed more than likely. Who's stabbing people at the courthouse? I'm glad I'm not over there right now. Like I said, I might be over there later on today. But I don't want to go over there to get stabbed. We outside. I'm glad I'm safe right now. I'm safe right now. Dr. Phil has no hidden agenda, and he would not ruin his reputation. Yeah. Well, shout out to him. Like I said, that Dr. Phil. You know what I mean? Dr. Phil looks like someone who loves, that's not being biased. You know what I mean? And I can appreciate that. Hit that like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you for the Cash App Extreme Travel and the donation. I appreciate you. Let me see what y'all saying. Matthew L. West. NYC, Los Angeles County, Atlanta, Fulton County, and Miami-Dade should have charged them, says Jake White. Yeah, it was over-exaggerated, overzealous charges, guys. I mean, we'll see what happens. I got a sneaky suspicion he's just going to get probation, 15 years probation, similar to, like I said, Young Thug. And he got the same lawyer as Young Thug on his team, Brian Steele. I think it's going to be the same right there. Brian Steele. He was facing a state RICO racketeering charge out there in Atlanta, you know, with multiple people with claims of violent acts on the community, shootouts, murders, and stuff like that. And he got, what did he get, guys? 15 years probation. Time served. Yet people want Diddy to do life. Wait till what's baby owe you. Must do life. What a baby owe you. You know? All that baby owe you, guys. All that baby owe you right there. He got to do life because of that. The owe you. LOL, if Diddy gets off, go to Dominican Republic and don't look back dealing with the shorties there, less of a headache. Well, I don't know, Rogue Moonchild. He might want to go to Indonesia and hang out with Russell Simmons because who knows if they'll try to bring state charges on him. He's going to be hit with lawsuits also. See, Russell Simmons remedied that by denouncing his citizenship and going over to Indonesia, becoming a Indonesian citizen. And some people are trying to sue him right now, but he's like, look, there's no jurisdiction. I'm not a citizen of the USA right now. I'm a citizen of Indonesia. There's no extradition treaty. So that's what Russell Simmons did. He's the former co-founder of Def Jam Records. So this is much bigger than this trial. Read up, people. Don't rely on temporary YouTube satisfaction. Yeah, you're right. Don't rely on Tisa Tells telling you that Diddy is done. Because that's, you're right about temporary YouTube satisfaction, which I'm sure you've been over there, Tisa Tells, getting your satisfaction. Diddy is done. Every post she puts up, every thumbnail, Diddy done. Feds got the goods. It's over for Diddy. You get your YouTube satisfaction, your instant satisfaction by that. We outside understand. And it gives you some dopamine. It gives you that dopamine feeling of a high that Diddy is going to jail for 25 years of life. Yeah, YouTube, you're all right. You're all right. You're all right. Diddy will cause inflation in Sasua. Oh, man. Yeah, Bali, Indonesia. Yeah, some of these celebrities should move. Shout out to Kanye West for going over there on Friday and supporting Diddy. Who's going to testify in Diddy's behalf, though? That's the thing. Who is going to testify on Diddy's behalf? Tisa stopped listening a long time ago because there's too much. But yeah, she's on the total opposite side. She's way too overboard with her, her takes. You're not going to find these women in the DR, sorry. Tell you the truth, if they were allowed to get away with it, if they had a system where they could get away with suing and this and that, they'd do the same thing over there in DR. They don't have that type of court system. They'd try it. Yeah. Let me see. They all guilty to me, so release him. BS case holding him, but what go? Yeah, I mean, like I said, if y'all really want to get him on sex trafficking, I mean, the Punisher need to stop going around doing interviews because he's a criminal too. Then the Punisher guy, all those sex workers, they're grown people, grown adults that weren't kidnapped to do it. That means if it's that big a deal to you guys, you people, that means everybody should be held accountable, and they should be facing 15 years of life in prison too. If y'all really feel that way, they proved the RICO, they proved sex trafficking days. Well, then all those prostitutes, because they were the ones doing the sex trafficking across the state lines, offering up their bodies for money. They guilty too. Hit that like button, guys. Like I said, I never thought Ray J. I never thought I would agree with Ray J. But hey, Ray J was Nostradamus, guys, as far as I'm concerned. Will Ray J go testify on Diddy's behalf?
I feel like it's becoming a circus act for stuff that doesn't make any sense for what Diddy's being charged for. I mean, there's a lot of bad things happening, and we all agree with that. But a RICO, racketeering, sex trafficking, like I've been with Diddy a long time. And if I haven't seen any of these kind of heinous acts happening, then where was I when it was happening? If you told me that the Kardashians was being charged for racketeering, I might believe it. But Diddy, sex trafficking, and all these other extra things, like, it's, to me, knowing him, knowing the situation, being around with most of the people that's testifying, you know, I just feel like there's somebody at the top who's making a statement, who's making a point. I'm sure Diddy got the point. Free Diddy, he got the point. He's chilling now.
That's not how it works.
I mean, man, I know, I get it, but I'm just keeping it real. Like, it's not okay to throw something extra on a man when the charges could have been something totally different.
I 100% agree with Ray J right now as it speaks. As they speaking right now inside the trial right now, the testimony or whatever is still going on. I'm going to get an update. But I 100% agree with Ray J on that now that I see clearly. You know, and that just comes with watching the case over time and going way down to the court house. You know what I'm saying? Now, if the charges were proper, I would say not. I would say no. Don't free Diddy. I would say give him his 3 to 5 years in prison. If you were to charge them properly for their assault and stuff, you know what I'm saying? See, that's where I differ. That's where you know, y'all guys are not looking at where I'm coming from, guys. You know, I'm not being biased. I'm saying, look, if he's charged properly, I'll find him guilty. If he's only getting like 3 to 5 years in prison, not 15 years of life, that's my issue. Let me see. Yeah. Like I said, I'm just so surprised. I just expected more, guys. I think that's probably where I expected more of a blockbuster case against Diddy, where I can say, you know what, to get this monster off the streets. To me, I just see a jealous, sexually raged freak that's a crazy sex addict and drug addict, and that he is abusive. He's a woman abuser. You know. That's what I see. I don't see RICO, racketeering. I don't see a criminal enterprise. I see people that work for him that, you know, did favors for him, or, you know, got paid to do certain things. But I don't see a criminal enterprise conspiracy to run a criminal enterprise and just distribute drugs everywhere on the streets, extort businesses on the streets, you know, firebomb businesses if they don't pay up extortions and stuff like that. I don't see that. I don't see it as that. So my level of thinking is not 15 years of life in prison. And I don't think that Bad Boy Records was that type of criminal enterprise type place. I think it's over-exaggerated. Like I said, it's some gray areas there. I see what the feds are trying to do. Believe me, I see what they're trying to do. I see how, you know, you can make it a RICO. You could tape it together, glue it together, say RICO, racketeering. That's the little tricks and games they play. But I would not convict them on it. True abuse. Yeah, Marie. Yeah, I can, you know, definitely abuse, definitely prostitution, definitely drug possession. Gene Deal is the voice of reason in this mess. Hey, shout out to Gene Deal. Shout out to now. I seen Gene Deal at the courthouse. I seen Gene Deal out there before. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. You know, he got his opinions. You know, but you know, it is what it is. You know, Diddy should have went to Sasua, said John Jackson. But Sasua fans, y'all don't want that heat out there though. Y'all don't want no big time celebrities in places like Sasua and places like that, because then it'll bring more heat over there to your favorite places to go to. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna bring more heat. Hit that like button, guys. Charging him for that and trying to keep him down. It's bigger than that. Ray J. Ray J said it all. So some people agreeing with Ray J. I agree with Ray J now. Drew the Kardashians under the see, he did. He threw the Kardashians right under the bus. That was nasty work right there by Ray J. That was nasty work right there. He should not be in jail for being a drug addicted freak. Yeah, that's basically what it is. And abusive. He is abusive. Like I said, you want to give him 3 or 5 years if it was that type of case. It's like, all right, I can see it. I can see it. That's why I put over exaggerated, overzealous by the feds. My God. I mean, everything is a crime with these guys. Like, everything is a crime with the federal. I mean, goodness great. Like, my goodness. They trying to bury. They want your head in a platter. You said it for me. It's not just one person in this case. A list start from the top. Margot Robinson. Diddy wouldn't have to worry about the judges in the DR. The woman will set him straight. Thing is, Diddy is just so reckless. Y'all don't want him in DR, man. Yeah, he's just too reckless. He's like, if he was a passer boat, and like he didn't know how to move. You know what I'm saying? He just too reckless, too open, too freakish. He'd leave himself too open to just be too much. Too reckless with his sexual exploits. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Megan Green. Shout out to you, Megan. You got to tell him no. Yeah. Like I said, it's a lot of YouTubers that was against Diddy that's hanging on to it. Even though they seeing the evidence, you know, put forth that's weak, they're still holding true to Diddy is done. So, hey, I'm not like that over here. Nah, keep all celebrities in the States. Reckless, but his echo will make him want to testify. This is not an assault charge, and if it was, he doesn't get life. Right, exactly. Like I said, the stuff that's clear cut, That could probably would have got him a good amount of time in prison, and it would have been an assault charge. I know statute of limitation problems, and they could have probably pressed charges on Cassie's behalf as far as like assault, because she claimed that he assaulted her during the relationship. So if they wanted to go that route, because the Me Too, there is no statute of limitations on that anymore. So they probably could have tried that. No, I shall not be hosting that type of party. We outside. you see, we outside. I'm telling you that he probably should be given 3 to 5 years. But the thing is, I'm not even sure the judge can sentence him to that. I don't know. I don't know. They're looking at 15 years to life. Isn't it 15 years the minimum? So that's why I would not find him guilty. Come back with some other charges. We outside, then I'll be happy to find him guilty. We outside of assault or whatever. You know. But you got to come with some evidence to court, though. You can't be coming with shoddy evidence. You know, what about the Brianna? See, y'all guys. See, the testimony given by Brianna was evidence of that, him dangling her over the balcony. The Jane Doe was a disaster. She's no victim. So y'all are holding on to these victims and trying to give this guy 15 years. That's bias, straight up 100% bias, and it's a shame that black men would do that. I'm assuming you black. We outside. It's a shame what black people do to other black men. It's a shame. It's a shame how other black people treat other black people. Straight hating. Y'all want the feds to take all his millions, his money, because y'all don't have it. So y'all was rooting for Jay-Z to get charged too. Y'all want Jay-Z to get charged too, because that's the bias and hatred black men have for other black successful men. Y'all hoping, praying Jay-Z gets charged. Y'all was hoping that girl was telling the truth about Jay-Z and Diddy that time. When Tony Busby took her lying statements and put it into a lawsuit. She was claiming she was underage. Why wasn't she called to testify? You know why? Because she was lying. She's a liar. She dropped her civil suit. Tony Busby dropped her. Liar. She should have been brought up on charges for lying. But y'all just scrub that away. Y'all just say, all right, nothing to see here. It doesn't fit the Tisa Tales narrative. It doesn't fit that Diddy is done, Jay-Z is done narrative. Let's go RICO. We got RICO though. Raze RICO. We got him. 15 years to life. Y'all gonna be highly disappointed when that verdict comes through, or when they do that plea deal. Y'all gonna be highly, highly disappointed. Like I said, if all these accusers, if they weren't lying, I would say, yeah, give him life. He's a monster. He's one of the worst people in the history of the planet. You know, if you'd have got a couple of those underage A minor type people said, you know, to prove that it happened, they can't just come to court and just say that. They got to prove that it happened. You got to have proof. But if they could have proved it happened and whatever, and they had, you know, timelines right and this and that, hey, I would say, yeah, he's a monster. Put him in jail for life. I mean, I have zero problem with that. Judge Judy even tell you, you got to come to court with evidence. You can't come to court without no evidence. Can't come to court without evidence. How are you going to come to court without evidence? I learned that from Judge Judy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, yeah, Busby wilding. Busby is wilding. You mean to tell me all them people Busby had on his client list that claim underage, the federal prosecutors could not subpoena not one of them to come testify to bury Diddy? Because that would have really buried him. He wouldn't have had no real support on that. Let me see what R. Kelly actually was convicted of. Let me see R. Kelly conviction. So I think some A minors was in R. Kelly conviction. Let me see. Because nobody would be like saying Trump should pardon Diddy if there's minors involved in this and that. But there isn't any in this case. So let me see about R. Kelly. What was R. Kelly exactly convicted of? R. Kelly was charged with sexual exploitation of children. Diddy has not been charged with that, guys. Convicted of crimes involving the sexual exploitation of children. That's huge. That's a huge one. Chicago trial, producing child pornography, enticing minors to engage in sexual activity. Sentenced to 20 years in prison. That was R. Kelly stuff. We have not heard anything about child pornography or underage stuff in this Diddy trial, guys. That's why this is different than R. Kelly. I thought we was getting like an R. Kelly type situation with Diddy. We have not. These have been all consenting adults. And I rest my case. I say not guilty in the way R. Kelly is guilty. Not guilty. And if Trump grants him a pardon, so be it. I don't think R. Kelly should get the pardon because of his underage minors situation. Diddy is being proved that he did not engage in that. So inside the underage stuff. So like I said, I've lightened up on what I feel that Diddy should go to jail for. Sue me. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling the truth. I thought we was gonna have some R. Kelly type stuff in this case. That's why I'm highly let down by the feds. You know, I thought we was gonna have some of that. Yeah. Did he not? I the way they was framing it with the whole Justin Bieber stuff and underage, you know, like as far as not the feds, but the media and Tony Busby and all this stuff, the way they was framing it, I was like, well, yeah, he's going down too. He's gonna get 20 years to life, you know. But after we having this trial in front of the world right now, it's not turning out that way. So my expectations of the verdict changes. That's just me, Raze. We'll see. R. Kelly is more innocent than D. Well, hey, you got to right to your opinion, in Chels. I mean, but he was convicted of that whole A minor stuff. So there are other standards in the RICO clause besides. Listen, the other stuff in the RICO, I don't give two about. I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? So when I was saying that he could get 20 years, see, I'm not here to help the feds. I'm not a federal agent, so I don't care about that RICO stuff because really, it's not. He wasn't running a gang or enterprise that was causing harm to the community and stuff. So y'all can miss me with that. I would have nailed him if I was a juror if he was dealing with those minors and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But other than that RICO stuff, I'm not helping the government with that. You can. We outside. You can go apply to be a juror. You know what I'm saying? You can fill in. I mean, I'm not helping them with that RICO. So really, I don't care if he gets off or not now. To be honest with you, like I said, I'm not going to lose sleep if he is convicted. But if he gets off, man, the stuff I thought it was going to be on some R. Kelly type stuff. You know what I'm saying? This stuff he's charged, that's just grown men in relationships, stupidity relationships, abusive relationship that women stayed around in. That's on them. I'm not getting involved in that. I'm not getting involved in that. And he's being charged with conspiracy to commit RICO. I'd rather be charged with murder than conspiracy to commit. No. Well, was this guy Young Thug? Young Thug was charged with the same thing. Young Thug. Where's Young Thug? Where's Young Thug and Mac? And he got the same lawyer. See, I'm bringing facts. Where's Young Thug? You saying you'd rather be charged with murder? Are you crazy? Murder, you getting 25 years of life. Unless you get lucky like OJ. Now this guy, Brian Steele, this guy had a state RICO, Young Thug. Y'all heard the case? Where is he sitting now? And they were talking about shootouts and shootings and I think murder too. Where's this guy sitting? Where is this guy sitting? Did he get, come on, y'all are wilding. I'm telling you, Diddy hired this lawyer that got Young Thug 15 years probation. This guy, that white guy right there on your screen, that's Diddy. That's one of Diddy's lawyers. He got like 10 of them. I'm sad to say, guys, y'all not gonna get the amount of time y'all want. He doesn't deserve that amount of time. He did not deal with no A minors. I'm sorry, he did not deal with them. There's no evidence that he did. There's nobody even testifying that he did. So, hey, do what y'all want with the guy, but I mean, I'm not giving him 15 years to life. These are not that 3 to 5 years max. I would give him. Salute, yeah, Ghost Bags, the guy who said, yeah, I heard about that, Buck Travel. Rest in peace to him. I was trying to confirm it, but I'm gonna take your word for it, Buck Travel, about the Ghost Bags. That's sad to hear, Buck Travel, that happened to Ghost Bags. Rest in peace to him. That he died in, wow, that's just so random. You got to live your life to the fullest, Buck Travel. Not in the Diddy way though, Buck Travel. Goddamn it. not in the Diddy way, but you know, live your life to the fullest and don't go overboard. Don't be reckless like Diddy. Hit that light button. Let me see. Oh my God, for the love of God, why do y'all keep coming into my chat with y'all this stupidity? You come into my chat with y'all don't be listening. Y'all come in at certain points and you say something stupid, something that's just idiotic as this. What is wrong with you people? Y'all guys got to start sending super chats and cash apps because y'all are frustrating to deal with. Holy hell. Now I can't be that mad at you because you probably didn't hear me because you ain't watching the whole live, of course. But for the love of God, why would you ask me something like this? How many times have I said on this live? How many times I said on the other live that yes, I would find him guilty of domestic violence? Are you kidding me? He's not charged with domestic violence. How dare you come in here and say, how do you feel about he beat Cassie? Do you support domestic violence? No, I said I would find him guilty of domestic violence, but here's the secret. He's not charged with domestic violence. Holy hell, what is wrong with you people? I'm not giving him 15 years of life. What is this so hard for you guys to understand? Dr. Phil said the same thing. Hey, Dr. Phil said the same thing. Yeah, right there, that guy, right there on the screen. What is it so hard for you to understand? Wow. Oh my God. People come in here. Well, I shouldn't get so mad because, like I said, you probably didn't hear. You probably don't even know what my show is about. You probably didn't hear me saying that. I believe it was disgusting what he did to Cassie, and I believe that if I was in the jury, if he was charged properly, I would find him guilty of that. For the love of God, like y'all coming in here nonsense. Oh my God, it's crazy. Yes, overcharged. He's overcharged. The thing that I want to find him guilty for, the domestic violence, he's not even charged with that. So it doesn't matter how I feel about that because I won't be able to find him guilty anyway. Holy hell. Wow. People are crazy. Well, I say he should go to Indonesia and be with Russell Simmons, Buck Travel. Yeah, overcharged. He's overcharged. And he might walk because of the feds overcharging. That's on them. That's on them. That's their fault for that. Charge them properly, like Ray J said, you probably would have got a conviction. LOL, yeah. Hey, I can see. Hey, I got glasses on. We outside. Hey, I got the glasses while I'm reading y'all, so I can see very well. Yeah, nah, you know, I mean, because I knew, but I shouldn't get so mad. You know why? Because not everybody sees the whole live stream. Because in this live stream, I made it abundantly clear that I would convict him on domestic violence. But I can't assume that people seen me say that. You know what I'm saying? And I've said that countless times in the other live streams. You know, from the courthouse, I've been saying the same thing. So I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry I went in on you like that because you was just asking a question. But, you know, it gets tiring. I hope you get paid up front. Well, the thing is, are you going to say the same thing once the prosecutors offer him the plea deal and don't give him no jail time? Are you going to say the same thing? Are you going to say the prosecutors were paid off? Because they're the ones going to free him. Like I said, Raze, I can't free the guy. It's going to be the judge and the judge, the jury, and the prosecutors. So what are you going to say? Are you going to say that they were diddling with Diddy if they offer him 15 years probation and no jail time? Are you going to say the same thing? Or are you just going to be just mad at Raze because he got off without doing the life in prison that you thought he was going to get? Oh, but they gave him 15 years probation. But the Raze, I blame Raze. He got paid $20 in front of that Diddy courthouse. That Raze is the problem. No, the lack of evidence is the problem. The over exaggeration of what I thought was going to be the charges is the problem. Maybe I just had my expectations up too high about the feds coming in with the goods. Like I said, I don't, that whole RICO nonsense. Yeah, y'all can go somewhere with that. I don't care about that at all. I was concerned about the underage A minor stuff and the drugging of people, which proved to not have happened, obviously, because they didn't call anybody to testify that it happened to them. So I rest my case. So, but we'll see what happens over the next few days. Francisco Carrasco, but I guess I'm just too logical. See, people want somebody to come up here and be illogical. Y'all want to go, if y'all can take all this stuff to Tisa Tell's channel. Y'all can go to Tisa Tell's and she'll tell you that Diddy is going to get life. She'll tell you Diddy is done, no matter what evidence is placed in front of her. So if y'all want to have good feelings, go right over to Tisa Tell's. You're more than free to come back over here and listen to me too. But if y'all need that dopamine in your system, if y'all need somebody to say Diddy is done, it's over for Diddy, just go right over to Tisa Tell's. She'll feed you that. She'll feed you that for your brain to take in, so you can feel good about yourself for the day. You know what I'm saying? If it makes you sleep better, you know what I mean? Yeah. If it makes you sleep better at night, hop on over there. I see dead people bribery. We already discussed that when it first happened. We discussed technically it wasn't bribery to a police officer. It was a bribery to a security officer, and there was no police report done. There was no police case done. So really, it wasn't obstruction of justice because the security guard, didn't give it to the police. Cassie wasn't never going to press charges with that, she said, and she wanted that to be behind her, that assault inside. So yeah, they gave the $100,000 to the security guard. He didn't give $100,000 to a police officer. That would be bribery. That would be a felony, a crime. If there was a police investigation going on and he hit that tape or paid for that tape, yeah, that would be obstruction of justice. But there was no police investigation. So technically, it is what it is. We all know why he did that, why he wanted the tape away, but nothing I can do. Listen, I can't force a charge. I can't force evidence and force a charge on the guy just to get him in jail for 15 years of life. I mean, I can't force it. Now, if they charge him properly, I would find him guilty of domestic violence. I mean, you know, like I said, I'm thinking this is like 3 to 5 years max in prison type charges. Really. I mean, for what I see that he's guilty of type, but they want him for 15 years to life. They charge him 15, but for what he's guilty of, what I say he's guilty of, I believe that's more like 3 to 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Drug possession, engaging in prostitution, I believe he's guilty of, and abuse, but the abuse charges is not inside the charges. So but a lot of things, hey, hell, jaywalking is against the law too. I see dead people. So, but I mean, you know, that not all things is the same. Now, like I just, it seemed like what I just said went over your head. I see dead people. See, when I try to explain in layman terms to you guys just don't want to accept it. You don't want to accept that this guy is more than likely going to get time served and probation. You don't want. I just went through a whole reason why, technically, he paid for the tape from the security staff, but it wasn't bribing a police officer. He gave money. He purchased a tape. Now, bribery. Are you giving him 15 years? So even if you prove bribery, are you giving him 15 years in prison? Are you getting him life in prison for bribery? That's what I'm saying. This is like 3 to 5 years type stuff. So even all right, find him guilty of bribery. Knock yourself out. Like I said, I'm not going to lose sleep if he's convicted, but I'm saying this is not 15 years of life. I would have been more inclined to give him 15 years of life if it's the A minors and the underage. I don't know why I keep saying this. And matter of fact, I'm about to end this live because I'm about to come back live later on. Rose White, no RICO here, none free Diddy. Say, hey, you want some of that crown? Hey, Raze, I want some of that. Hey, you know, listen, listen. Go to Tisa Tells, and we outside. Go to Tisa Tells, and you'll feel better about yourself, and you'll feel better about the day. And you'll be able to sleep better at night because she's going to feed you the Diddy is done, Diddy lost in trial today type propaganda, and it'll bring a smile to your face. And I know it give you some therapy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, I would say Diddy is done too if I seen the evidence that he is. Now, hell, now the jurors might convict them of federal racketeering and ass trafficking. They might. I would still say it was a bad decision, bad judgment. That's all I'll say, and I'll move on with my life. I mean, I won't lose sleep over it. See, now you guys will lose sleep if Diddy is given probation by the feds. That'll mean the feds let you guys down, big time. Big time. If the feds offer this guy a plea deal of time served, he would let y'all guys, he would let the feds would let Tisa Tells down and all the other YouTubers that are saying Diddy is done. That'll mean the feds, prosecutors is wearing that $20 shirt. You know what I mean? They've been bought off. You know what I'm saying? Because they're the ones like Raze is not the one. Raze is not the one going to be the one to release him and give him that deal. It's the feds. So if the feds give him the deal, which I'm saying that he might get, y'all gotta blame them. Y'all gotta blame them, not me. You need more people, Razor. Listen, it is what it is. You know, like I said, I might go down to that court today. Actually, I might go down if it's not rain. I don't think it's rain. It was raining. It was kind of chilly today. You know. Diddy is true. He's a sex addict. Predator. I'm not. Well, I think a predator when they talk about A minors, which nobody has testified about that. They didn't bring anybody to testify about that, so I'm gonna leave that alone. And nobody testified about him drugging people. That's why I calmed down on my predictions of Diddy being done. And I'm like, you know, I kind of lighten my stance on Diddy getting 15 years of life because there's no evidence that he did that to those underage or drugged anybody. I mean, you got to put stuff in court. You got to put stuff in as evidence, you know? So the judge is not fair. Say, man. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you for your donations. Thank you for coming through. This has been fun. We'll be back live later on. Definitely hit the like button. Thank you, Extreme Traveler, for the and thank you. Anybody wants to donate, hit the Cash App. It's posted on the top. I appreciate everybody for donating. I might head down to the court today. If I feel something develops, I'm definitely gonna be back at the court once the Diddy team start their defense. Because, like I said, there's only going to be like one more person to testify for the prosecution. It's going to be that poor guy, if they still call him. If not, then they're going to rest their case, and the defense is going to call up their witnesses, who they have to talk in favor of Diddy, and they're going to put out the reason why this is not a RICO racketeering case. And I think it's going to be more evident to you guys. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be more evident to you guys at the end of the day. But I appreciate all you guys' comments. You guys have been fun. It's been fun going back and forth with you guys. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. I'm Raze, and I am out.